Joining me now is an esteemed member of the Velshi Band Book Club, the Dr. Imani Perry. She's a professor of African American Studies at Harvard University and the author of the National Book Award, winner of South to America, A Journey Below the Mason-Dixon to Understand the Soul of a Nation. Dr. Perry, it is good to see you. Thank you for being with us yet again. You have been a frequent guest of ours here because when we cannot introduce and interview some of these great authors because they are no longer with us, you are our best choice. You have studied these people. You have honored them. So thank you for joining us to discuss the enduring relevance of this book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and Maya Angelou's enormous legacy. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me. What a gorgeous introduction. Really wonderful.
You know, most of us know Maya Angelou as this great success in her life. Does reading I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings through that lens affect the book? Because when she wrote this book, she wasn't who we know her to be today.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I think part of the magic of the book is that you understand how she got, notwithstanding all of this incredible trauma and adversity she experienced at a very young age, you actually understand how she could become Maya Angelou when you read the book, because, as you said, there are these moments of beauty. There's an extraordinary love of community, her relationship with her brother, her grandmother, the nurturing they have, this sort of the community that is like a fortress against the violence of a Jim Crow order. And that combined with the love of language and literacy, I mean, the path that she travels becomes clear. And I think that the book then, part of the reason it inspires so much is that any person who has experienced adversity can actually find a resonance with the power of finding connection with other human beings and a way out, right, through art, through beauty, through possibility, yeah.
One of the persistent themes in the book is self-acceptance. Angelou heartbreakingly introduces this starting in the prologue, quote, "Wouldn't they be surprised when one day I woke out of my black, ugly dream and my real hair, which was long and blonde, would take the place of the kinky mask that Mama wouldn't let me straighten." Throughout the book, Maya Angelou comes to terms with her identity and begins to accept herself as she is. But what a remarkable theme through the course of the book.
It's extraordinary. And, you know, she was a tall woman with a deep voice, dark skin, short hair, sort of not fitting the ideal of beauty, not just in the larger society, but in her own community. And that theme carries through the subsequent autobiographies as well. And so, again, you see this entry point for identification for readers from all sorts of walks of life. How do you love yourself when you're receiving messages that you're inadequate? And so the vulnerability in sharing that, I think, is really powerful and incredibly important for young people to have access to.
There are many visceral and infuriating moments in this book, and one that stayed with me since I first read this book many, many years ago was the dentist scene in chapter 24. Angelou develops a toothache. Her grandmother takes her to a local white dentist who owes her money and a favor. The dentist refuses to treat her, saying, quote, "My policy is I'd rather stick my hand in a dog's mouth." Then he ends it with a racial slur. Tell me a bit about this.
I mean, this is the kind of everyday violence that characterized the segregated South, right? The sort of persistence of insult and degradation. And so when you see in the text how she moves from that to these moments of grace, of celebration of oneself, of grooming, of a commitment to elegance, you actually understand that as a site of resistance, right? So that it's not simply the case that people endured, but people actually built themselves up, you know, but that's history. That's truth. I think it's really important for us to understand how persistent and how ugly those types of behaviors were not that long ago. That was, you know, that was my mother's lifetime.
Yeah. You've written about Maya Angelou quite a bit and her memoir. In your book, May We Forever Stand, you recount an emotional moment in I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings when a white politician's speech threatens to derail the celebration of Maya Angelou's 8th grade graduation. The ceremony is ultimately saved by the young valedictorian's beautiful speech and the Black National Anthem, in which you write, quote, "The Negro National Anthem was a tool of transcendence. It was a tool for community building. It was remembered by Angelou as reflecting the very spirit of Black resilience." I would love if you could elaborate on that.
Sure. I mean, so the anthem was sung ritually. And so when she concludes this moment, when they sing the anthem as a way to, in many ways, restore the beauty and the celebration of the graduation after insult, she actually captures in the most powerful way why Lift Every Voice and Sing was so important. It was a song that allowed them to tell the story of their lives and of their people in these epic, gorgeous terms, as opposed to, as they were often depicted, as my people are often depicted, as a people without history. And so she places it in this scene, but the meaning is so great because it sort of encapsulates the spirit of resistance that was so pervasive in the segregated South and Black communities. It's a really beautiful moment.
Dr. Perry, it is a pleasure, as always, to talk to you. It's a real honor that you give us because you are a celebrated author unto yourself, but to have you be able to help us with these authors who are no longer with us is something we really appreciate. Dr. Imani Perry is a historian and a professor of African American Studies at Harvard University. She's also the author of the very important book, South to America, A Journey Below the Mason-Dixon to Understand the Soul of a Nation. It's a must-read.